The next item of business is topical questions, to which we now come, and I'd invite Fiona Hislop. Question 1. Fiona McLeod, forgive me. Question 1.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the Scottish Government what impact a reduction in winter fuel payments would have on older people in Scotland.
Minister Margaret Burgess.
Reducing winter fuel payments would put more Scottish households at risk of fuel poverty and would undermine the determined efforts of the Government to eradicate the scourge of fuel poverty. Our new home energy efficiency programmes for Scotland are focused on addressing the areas that are worst affected by fuel poverty. We are providing £79 million to support our area-based and national schemes and lever-in energy company investment to create a £200 million fund. As part of this, we have invested £16 million this year in the Energy Efficiency Scheme, which provides heating and insulation measures to the most vulnerable and poor households in Scotland. Taken together with direct help from energy companies through the Affordable Warmth Scheme, it's estimated that more than 300,000 poorer households will be eligible for free insulation and heating. We are also continuing to fund the Home Energy Scotland hotline, which provides tailored and trustworthy advice to households on the assistance available to them.
Thank you very much. Fiona McLeod.
Thank you. Given that answer, does the Minister agree that proposals to remove the winter fuel payments are the latest in a series of cuts to the fuel poverty budget, which started under Labour and have continued under the present coalition?
Margaret Burgess.
The announcement Labour Shadow Chancellor would suggest that his party wants to restrict financial support for fuel poverty even further than the UK Government had already done by means testing older people. In an independent Scotland, we can take decisions about welfare that will ensure fair and decent support for people. Compare the Scottish Government's approach to helping people have warm homes. We have allocated, as I said, £79 million in 2013-14 to our fuel poverty and energy efficiency programmes, whereas the UK Government has been reducing poverty funding for its Warm Front programme over the past few years, and from this year fuel poverty households will only get assistance from the obligations placed on the energy companies.
Fiona McLeod.
I thank the Minister for the answer, and it makes me think back to the predecessor in my constituency, who was also my mentor, Margaret Ewing, who first campaigned for a winter fuel allowance over 30 years ago, and I would ask the Minister if she would join with me in preserving the legacy of my predecessor.
Margaret Burgess.
The Scottish Government is committed, as I said, to tackling fuel poverty, and in total will spend around £250 million in fuel poverty and domestic energy efficiency over the spending review period. Winter fuel payments help older people heat their homes, and the introduction of them in the late 90s, which, as you said, was Margaret Ewing campaigned hard for, is a welcome source of financial support. And certainly, I'm sure, like myself, Margaret Ewing would be appalled at the fact that the UK Government is trying to remove them now.
Thank you very much. Question 2, Drew Smith.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the Scottish Government what action it has taken to secure jobs and conditions at the O2 Skypark facility in Glasgow, following the announcement by Telefónica that 3,000 jobs are to be outsourced to Capita.
Minister Fergus Ewing.
Presiding Officer, following this announcement, Scottish Development International has already met with Capita in London, and another meeting will take place this week. In addition to this, a further meeting is planned in the near future in Scotland between the company and officials in order to understand the long-term implications for the Glasgow operation. O2 has confirmed that the employment of affected staff, as well as their contractual terms and conditions of employment, will be guaranteed for 2 years. My ministerial colleagues and I have asked to be kept fully informed of developments, and we stand ready to intervene on this matter and will meet with senior Capita officials as necessary.
Drew Smith.
Can I thank the Minister for that response and for his letter on the same subject, which was obviously emailed to me in the last hour. I hope that he will seek a meeting with Capita and that he will impress upon them the need to be open with the nearly 900 O2 staff as to Capita's post-2015 plans for the Skypark facility. Discussions between Telefónica and Capita, which apparently included the possible future closure of the Glasgow Skypark facility, should not have been uncovered because of a press report, and the communication workers' unions and others who have been seeking reassurances on behalf of staff have had their relationship with management of both companies damaged as a result. Does he agree that it is unacceptable for Telefónica O2 to walk away from their loyal staff, protesting that conditions will be initially protected but in private, involved in discussions about a rundown? Would he call on Telefónica O2 to delay transfer of these staff to Capita until they can be clear about their own intentions for my many constituents working for this significant Glasgow employer? Presiding Officer, it cannot be credible to take a 10-year contract but only have a clear plan in place for the first 2 years.
Minister.
Well, what I would say to the member is that Capita announced on the 21st of May that it had been selected by Telefónica UK, that's O2, as its preferred bidder to form a 10-year strategic partnership for customer management services. Now, this deal will see Capita run and manage O2's customer service centres and support O2 as it enhances and expands its digital service offering to customers. The contract is expected to be worth £1,200 million and is due to commence on the 1st of July. Now, the majority of the staff, that's 955 staff at the Glasgow site, who work in customer sales and service, will transfer under TUPE to Capita. O2 will retain approximately 70 staff at the site that are employed in technical areas, that's network infrastructure, etc. And Capita has not made a formal statement about its plans for the Glasgow facility beyond 2015. Presiding Officer, I don't want to comment on press speculation, but myself and my ministerial colleagues, as I've indicated, will keep a very close watch on what is happening and will certainly wish to be sure that the interests of the staff are fully taken into account by the company going forward.
Smith.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer, and I'm grateful to the Minister for the assistance which he's indicated he will provide to those staff and for his good offices in attempting to establish Capita's plans post-2015. When these jobs came to Glasgow, they were considered good quality jobs. Wages at this facility are significantly higher than they are at other Capita call centres. But O2 over the past few years did benefit from significant public support for the establishment of the Skypark facility. Will he also ask Scottish Enterprise to examine the clauses in some of the original support which was provided, and will he consider what support will be provided to these organisations in the future, in light of not just the decisions which have apparently been taken so far, but in light of the further decisions which we expect, but crucially also in respect of the manner in which decisions and discussions seem to have been taken forward by Telefónica, O2 and Capita?
Minister.
Well, I have looked into this already. Telefónica have received a total of £6.1 million in RSA from Scottish Enterprise since 2006. This grant led to the creation of 1,300 jobs and capital expenditure of £14 million. It was anticipated the company would also spend around £48 million in salaries over the first 2 years of the project. Telefónica has fulfilled, Presiding Officer, all of its obligations with regard to this grant and is not now subject to recovery. I should say, and I think most members are aware of this, that regional selective assistance is a key economic tool and one which has provided considerable value for money to the taxpayer and created thousands of jobs in Scotland.
Thank you very much. John Mason.
Yes, Mr Smith and the Minister mentioned regional selective assistance, and I just wonder if I could press the Minister a little more as to how he feels that is working and if it is being successful in attracting jobs and obviously protecting the money that has gone in.
Minister.
Well, thank you for that question. It's an extremely important issue because RSA does make a substantial contribution to the Scottish economy, and the work that the SDI, SC, Scottish Enterprise and Highlands Islands Enterprise do is exemplary in this respect. During 2011 and 12, 87 offers of RSA were accepted, totalling over £35 million. The majority were made to Scottish-based companies. These offers relate to projects with planned capital expenditure of over £214 million and the expected creation or safeguarding of over 3,500 jobs. Effectively, for every £1 of grant of RSA, levers in £6 of private investment. I think that's a pretty good deal overall for the taxpayer, and we will continue to ensure that RSA is fully utilised in future.
Many thanks, and that concludes topical questions. And we'll now move to the next item.